Hey, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the country. We're going to start our webcast in about 30 seconds, so just stand by for a little bit. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so my name is Rob Polston. You can probably see my picture on your screen. I'm currently the program manager for veteran staffing and recruiting at Intel. Part of my scope is also diverse abilities or persons with disabilities recruiting as well. Concurrently, I serve as an officer in the Army Reserve. I've been at Intel for over 10 years now and have served in the military, active and reserve in the Army since 1997. I first started out at Intel from my MBA program in finance, supporting a variety of different groups. And I stayed in finance for almost 7 years before I was finally activated to deploy in 2011. Upon my return, Intel was starting a formal veteran program and seeking a veterans recruiting program manager. And to take a little step back, through all my years in corporate America, I always maintained a passion for anything to do with the military. And I found myself frequently striking up questions, conversations with veterans at Intel, and loved attending any kind of formal or informal veteran events, also known as happy hours. So I really jumped at the opportunity to kick off and lead the recruiting program for veterans. In addition, I've recently deployed, and seeing firsthand how Intel takes care of its deployed and activated employees, I really felt that this was a mission that I firmly believed in and supported. So it took me 10 years, but I finally got to a spot in corporate America where I just have a lot of passion and a lot of love for what I do. So the way this will work today is I'll speak for about 30 minutes, and then at 10:30 we'll release you guys to go into the individual recruiting booths to talk to the recruiters from the groups that are actually hiring today. I'll give you an overview of Intel in this presentation, and then an overview of our veteran programs. I will take questions during the presentation, so if you have any questions, feel free to send them via text, and I'll do my best to answer them. And like I said, feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. And our moderator, Debbie, is on the line, and she'll be interrupting me if she sees your questions, and then I'll answer them as we go. Finally, we are raffling a Samsung Galaxy Note tablet today. I did that via random number generator, according to everyone that registered for the career fair. So if at the end I'll announce who won that. So any questions? Great. All right, I'll go to my next slide here. So part of our new slogan is called Look Inside. That's the only slide I have here, but just wanted to let you know that it was Intel Inside before, and we've kind of switched it to Look Inside. It's our new branding and marketing campaign. Our CEO is Brian Krzanich. He's a recently appointed CEO just last year, and that is his quote that Intel is a great company with a proud heritage of innovation and execution. So a little more specifics on Intel. We're the world's largest semiconductor manufacturer. We're in 185 sites in 63 countries, over $50 billion in revenue, 25 years of consecutive positive net income, which is quite an accomplishment over the last 25 years, knowing the ups and downs of the world economy. Currently over 100,000 employees. We're ranked number 42 in Fortune's World's Most Admired Companies. We're also the largest voluntary purchaser of green power in the United States, so we're a very eco-friendly company. And one of the things, if you do ever get to work for Intel and we can find you a role, there's a lot of volunteer opportunities in the community, and we've donated over 5 million hours of volunteer service in our communities over the last 5 years, which is really kind of cool and makes Intel a great place to work. All right, I don't see any questions, so we'll keep going. So you can see Intel's vision there, and that's to create and extend computing technology to connect and enrich the lives of every person on Earth. And so to succeed in carrying out our vision and to win against powerful and wide-ranging competition, which is really globally. We'll do 4 things. First, we will grow our core business by making the PC magical again, and we'll ensure Intel technology remains the best choice for cloud computing and the data center. Second, we'll extend Intel solutions into adjacent market segments to bring thrilling new experiences to the smartphone, the tablet, the car, and the rest of the embedded world, or the Internet of Things, as we're calling it. Third, we'll connect all these devices to create a continuum of computing. This continuum will give people a set of secure, consistent, and personalized computing experiences that they love. And finally, we'll work to inspire the next generation, and we will focus special care on our people and the planet. So a little bit more about building the yes.
Excuse me, Rob. We do have a question. We have somebody asking, out of our 185 sites, do we have locations on the East Coast of the United States versus Silicon Valley and California?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So our major sites are Portland or Hillsboro, Oregon, Northern California, specifically Santa Clara and Folsom, and then Arizona. Some of the smaller sites that we have are going to be in New Mexico. We do have some sites in Massachusetts and South Carolina, but those are really smaller. I would say the majority of our jobs are going to be in the western United States. Any other questions, Debbie?
No, thanks.
Okay, great. And so I wanted to talk a little bit more about the continuum of personal computing experiences. So as you know, computing is moving beyond the PC and into a wider range of smart devices driven by the internet and the need to and desire to always be connected. New device categories are emerging at a rapid pace to bring computing experiences into every aspect of our lives. And consumers ultimately want to have consistency and an interoperability across all of their devices, making computing a seamless experience regardless of where you are, what you're doing, or what your needs are at the time and what they may be. So Intel refers to this end state as a compute continuum, and currently we're building out capabilities across our portfolio of products to deliver on this vision over the coming years. The compute continuum consists of an array of computing devices, from the smallest smartphone that we all have, such as the iPhone or an Android phone, to the largest cloud server. The value of Intel architecture-based compute continuum is that significantly improves the user experiences by, 1, creating a consistent and familiar user experience across devices, allowing the devices to work together seamlessly to provide an integrated experience, and enabling outstanding security and privacy protection. So these trends create a powerful opportunity for our company, as each new category for computing is an area for growth for Intel. So if no questions on that, we'll keep going. So here's kind of an overview globally of all of our sites. One of the notes here is that we have over 4 million square feet of manufacturing space. But the cool thing about Intel is we're a global multinational corporation. You can see the kind of major manufacturing sites. That's what it's kind of showing now. Most of our fabrication facilities are going to be in the U.S., Israel, and Ireland. And then our assembly test facilities are going to be mainly based in Asia, as you can see, and then we have one in Costa Rica as well. The great thing about working for Intel is sometimes you'll get the chance to travel to some of these places. I've been here for 10 years. I think I've been to every U.S. site and most of the international sites as well. So it's really cool to be able to work for a multinational corporation and have the chance to see other parts of the world while on business. So I'm going to transition now. Yes, Debbie.
Hi, this is Debbie. We have a question. Someone's asking, how important is it for veterans to have a 4-year degree to be considered for employment at Intel? Sometimes they haven't had a chance to complete a degree due to their duties.
Yes, thanks for the question. So we have a variety of different positions at Intel. Our lowest level position is a 2-year degree or equivalent military experience. So for our manufacturing technician positions, if you have a technical background in the military, from avionics, electronics, our nuclear guys from the Navy, radio repair, sonar, fire controlman in the Navy, or Patriot missile repair, anything along those lines, that would give you an equivalent of a 2-year microelectronics degree, and you'd qualify for a manufacturing technician. Most of our other positions on the exempt side, you need a 4-year degree. But we do offer internships, so if you decided, you wanted to work in sales and marketing, and you went to get your degree in sales and marketing in a 4-year program, we have internships that are available for those undergraduate students that will give you kind of real world, 3 to 4 month rotation internship opportunities to kind of learn what Intel's all about, what type of jobs are available, and what the Intel culture is all about. So to answer your question, most of our jobs at the lowest level require the equivalent of a 2-year degree or equivalent military experience, all the way up to PhDs as well.
We've got a couple more questions on that same line. We've got someone who asked if internships are paid, and then if someone is already currently in school in IT, can someone help them finish their degree and work in IT?
So to the first question, yes, all of our internships are paid. I'm not aware of any unpaid internships. I don't think so. So yeah, I would say almost 100% of our internships are paid. I'm not aware of any that are not paid. And then Debbie, can you repeat the second question, please?
If someone has most of a 4-year degree in CSIT, can Intel help finish the degree and have the person work in IT?
Meaning, can Intel help pay for the rest of the degree and work in IT?
That's how I'm understanding it, yes.
Okay. That's a good question. I don't know. We have an IT recruiting team that's here today. If they want to save that question and ask the IT recruiters, that would be the best place. Any other questions, Debbie, or are we free to move on?
Yeah, free to move on.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, so I'm going to transition to talk a little bit about our military veteran programs. This is something I have a huge passion and interest in. So you can see that our tagline is Intel Military Veterans, you make us stronger. And you'll see that if you work at Intel, you'll see that kind of on the walls, in the hallway, all of our veteran marketing material. We have an employee group, and it's kind of our tagline, that veterans make Intel stronger. So some of our veterans programs, you can see there is, we have a veterans orientation and new hire buddy program that we've implemented. So if you start at Intel and you're not sure, it's a big company, it's a new culture, you're just transitioning off active duty, or you've been off of active duty, or you're a reservist, we have a program that you can connect to a buddy who's a veteran that you can share your concerns with or ask questions in a really easygoing environment. We also have full-time commitment to veterans hiring staffing initiatives. We have a veterans employee group called American Veterans at Intel. I sit in Arizona, and we have over 1,400 members in the group, which is really cool. We actually do a lot of community service projects together, bring in speakers. We also have quarterly activities such as happy hours or go to the movies. And it's really cool to have that camaraderie that you had in the military here at Intel. We also have a veteran-to-veteran mentoring program. And we also provide training for managers of veterans. So, a lot of civilian managers that have no experience with the military may not know how your background or what you did in the military or the experiences you had or what you bring to the table. So we do provide training for some of the managers that have veterans on their teams to give them a little background of what you can bring to the table and what your experiences may or may not be. We're also partnered with a Wounded Warrior program called Operation Impact, and that allows us to kind of source and attract Wounded Warriors as well. We partner with an organization called American Corporate Partners, it's ACP, and they help match mentors to mentorees. So veterans that are leaving the military and looking to work in corporate America can be assigned kind of a senior level manager at Intel to mentor them through the process. We've won multiple awards with the ESGR, Employee Support of the Guard and Reserve, such as the Freedom Award, Pro Patriot Award, Extraordinary Support Award. And then we've won numerous industry awards, which I'll touch on later. So if you want to know more about our veterans program in specific, please feel free to go to our veterans website. You can see it there, intel.com/go/veterans. The best place to find out about our hiring initiatives for veterans and to have kind of more of an open forum is our LinkedIn group. So if you're not part of our LinkedIn group, we have over 1,000 members. Please go to LinkedIn and search Intel Military Veterans. It'll pull up our group. It's an open group. Anybody can join. But if you want to really stay on top of, what we're currently hiring for veterans, coaching, advice, that's the place to find it. So please join our group. In addition to that, I wanted to throw out a couple things. We're currently sourcing, and if you go on our LinkedIn group, you'll see, for a program for disabled/wounded warriors in Oregon and New Mexico. So we're sourcing most of those candidates through a nonprofit called Project Hired. So if you're a disabled veteran and you were injured in Iraq or Afghanistan or overseas, or a wounded warrior, those are 12-month paid internship programs in New Mexico and Oregon. So take a look at our LinkedIn group, find out more about that. Right now we have 3 positions in each location that are available. The 3 in New Mexico are for facility service technicians, and the 3 in Oregon are for project managers. And if you want some real-world experience, 12 months paid internship, those are some great avenues for you to get that experience if you're a disabled veteran or wounded warrior. So take a look at our LinkedIn group. If you have any questions, you can email me directly as well.
Rob, we have a couple questions about what the percentage of the workforce is veteran.
So I am going to talk about that in just a second. Any other questions, Debbie? Okay. Okay, so my next slide is, we have about 10 minutes left before we open up the recruiting booths, but a lot of people ask, why are you hiring veterans, right? And you guys are all veterans on the call, or maybe you're still currently serving in the military. So, the bottom line up front, if you've never heard that acronym, but most of you probably have, is veterans are really critical to our business success, right? And so, I always get a little disturbed when I hear that it's the right thing to do when you're out there in the industry. We're hiring veterans because it's the right thing to do. And for me as a veteran, I don't agree with that. I don't think hiring veterans is a charity case. Intel doesn't think that. We value veterans because their values line up perfectly with our values. And as a matter of fact, we don't even take the tax breaks associated with hiring veterans. So we don't want to be perceived as doing this only for the tax breaks. In our view, the following values define why we hire veterans, and you can see them there. They're disciplined, determined, they're dedicated, they're innovative, they're team players, they're diverse, they're loyal. As you can see, the values that veterans bring to the table align quite nicely with our corporate values to the right there, which is why veterans make a good fit at Intel. The big takeaway is we don't believe hiring veterans is the primary reason to do so is because it's the right thing to do. Going on to my next slide. So this will answer your question about the percentage of our U.S. workforce that are veterans. So we have over 4,000 self-identified veterans, about 8% of our U.S. workforce. We've hired almost 1 veteran per day since 2012, but we've only really formally had a veterans program since October of 2012. So right now we have 2 full-time employees dedicated to veterans initiatives at Intel, which for most companies that's actually very robust. Most of the time they may have a half a headcount dedicated to that. So Intel is very fortunate to be able to fund 2 full-time employees. One of them is me, obviously, and then my counterpart, John Reshar, who sits in Oregon. He's our overall Veterans Program Manager. He's also a colonel in the United States Marine Corps Reserve. So one impact of having kind of the formal program is that we've seen a 30% increase in the self-identification of veteran employees. So Intel is definitely a high-tech employer of choice for veterans. Some of the awards that we've won just in the past year is the 2014 GI Jobs Magazine Top 100 Military-Friendly Employer designation. And you can see that logo there. And part of that, the really interesting part of that award was that we got invited to New York City on Veterans Day to participate in the closing bell of the NASDAQ stock market. And you can kind of see our picture there. It's John Reshar on the left. It's Ardeen Williams in the middle. She's our Vice President of Human Resources. And I'm on the right there with the window kind of covering my face a little bit. But it was really cool to be able to do that and to be recognized as a top 100 military-friendly employer. Over 7,000 companies apply for that designation, and it was cool that Intel was recognized as a top 100. We've also won the civilianjobs.com Most Valuable Employers for Military. For 2 years in a row, we've been recognized by U.S. Veterans Magazine as Best of the Best, Top Veteran-Friendly Company. And if you guys are Guard and Reserve employees, you would know that the Freedom Award is a big deal, and we're a Freedom Award winner as well with the employer support of the Guard and Reserve. And that's really for our policies for our Guard and Reserve employees. And I firsthand can really attest to that since I am an Army reservist. We've got a couple more slides, and then we'll release you to the recruiting booths. So one of the cool things that Intel does is we have a challenge coin, and I'm sure most of you guys most of the vets out there are familiar with a challenge coin. But this is really a program where our CEO publicly recognized the over 4,000 veterans at Intel with a challenge coin, right? And you can see it's got the tag, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says Intel Military Veterans on the back. It's got all 5 branches of service. And it says, you make us stronger. And so you can see some of the comments that we got from some of the veterans because of our Challenge Coin program. We had a ceremony where our CEO personally handed out some of the coins. And some of the benefits of the program that we had from the Challenge Coin program is our like I said, our veteran population increased. Our self-identification of vets increased by 30%. We also got our senior leaders to kind of buy into our military veteran program. So it was really cool, and you can kind of see the comments that our veterans have. So when you do work at Intel, the first day you get in the door as a veteran, if you choose to self-identify as a veteran, you'll get a really cool challenge coin thanking you for your service and recognizing you as a military veteran at Intel. So some of our recruiting efforts that you can see there is for the past year we've done some joining forces recruiting events with the White House. We're part of the 100,000 Jobs Mission, which should be called the 200,000 Jobs Mission because it's a coalition of about 140 companies that are dedicated to hiring close to 200,000 veterans now. We participated in hiring our Heroes events, some VA events. Normally, we participate in the state workforce, veteran unemployment agencies, and career fairs. We obviously partner with the Transition Assistance Programs or ACAP programs at different bases. We recruit veterans on college campuses. As I mentioned, we're part of Operation Impact. We've attended the Vet MBA conference last year. We also participate in Military Mojo, which is Military Officer Job Opportunities, and SAC, which is Service Academy Career Conferences. So I've probably met some of you guys on the line at some of these conferences. But in this year, we'll probably, and we don't have the final schedule yet, but we'll probably be attending some of these as well. So and this is really my last slide, but this is one of the employees we like to highlight, and this is an Army vet and currently serving Arizona National Guardsman Carlton. His personal story is that he joined the military because, I'll just read it, I joined the military because I wanted to be part of a fight on terrorism and to defend my country. I wanted to set an example for my kids by role modeling selfless service. I also felt the need to be part of a mission that is bigger than just myself. And so his Intel job is a maintenance tech equipment owner here in Arizona. And why he joined Intel was offered a great opportunity in a big veteran-friendly company with good pay and benefits. So just one of our rock star veterans, Carlton just recently, like last month, returned from a 9-month deployment as a route clearance, IED clearance engineer from southern Afghanistan. So rockstar veteran employee. We sent him off with a huge send-off ceremony here in Arizona. And then when he gets back, he's actually not back at Intel yet. He's back in the States, but not back at Intel. We'll have a huge welcome home ceremony for him with all of our veteran employees as part of our American Veterans at Intel Employee Infinity Group. So really cool. These are some of the recognitions that we give our veteran employees, especially our Guard and Reserve employees that deploy and then redeploy back. So that is my I guess, 25-minute pitch. Before I announce who won the Samsung Galaxy tablet, are there any questions out there? Debbie, any questions come in?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a couple. One question is, are there specific Intel projects that only veterans will work on?
The only ones that I can think of are the what we're currently sourcing for, New Mexico and Oregon, the Wounded Warrior / Disabled Veteran internship program. Those are specifically reserved for Wounded Warriors, Disabled Veterans. As I mentioned, the 3 in New Mexico are for facility technicians, and the 3 in Oregon are for project managers. And those are 12-month paid internships. So those are the only ones we've really set aside just for veterans. But all of our jobs, the hiring managers know the value of veterans. They really understand the skills and experiences that a veteran brings to the table. And your veteran status is always considered for all of our open recs, whether they be full-time or internships. Intel is a company that values veterans, and even our non-veteran hiring managers understand what you bring to the table.
What's the name of the LinkedIn military group? What do they search under?
They can search in LinkedIn, just search Intel Military Veterans, and it'll pull it up, and it's an open group. Anybody can join. But just search Intel Military Veterans.
Okay. We've got a question. Are there non-tech jobs for veterans on the business or human resources side?
Yes. We have a really good track record of hiring veterans, not only in the manufacturing technician side, but also on the exempt professional side as well, folks with 4-year degrees. As I mentioned, 8% of our U.S. workforce are veterans, so not all of those are manufacturing technicians. Specifically in HR, there is a HR Pathways program for interns and full-time hires that we usually that are great opportunities for veterans to kind of learn about Intel's HR program. I actually just placed a Army captain into that program from Fort Leavenworth, so it's a really good program. If you go to our website, you can look under our rotation programs or college programs for more information about that. But it's called the HR Pathways program, and we do hire veterans into that program.
Rob, we have quite a few questions about different positions available, and I believe that most of the time these people will be able to go into the booths and get answers through chats online.
Yes, I don't have visibility into every job we have open at Intel, but we do have 4 recruiting booths with recruiters from a variety of different groups that are opening in about 1 minute. So if you have specific questions about certain jobs, go to the recruiting booth that represents the groups that you're interested in or the business functions that you're interested in, and they should be able to help answer those questions. And if they can't answer it, please feel free to send me an email.
Rob, I have one more question. As someone who's retired, are these programs available to a retiree as well?
Short answer is yes. Intel really doesn't make any pre-biased decisions or just anything pre-qualifying against someone that retired from the military. My best advice would be to ensure that you apply for the positions that really match your background, experience, and education, and ensure your resume is really catered toward that specific job function. One of the things I see a lot is that veterans have one generic resume for every position they apply for, and that doesn't work. A statistic I'll throw out to you is for every job that's open, our recruiters, myself included, will get 300 to 350 resumes. So our job is really whittle that down to 50 and then whittle that down to 10 to 15 that we show the hiring manager. But if your resume is not really structured specifically for that rec, it's really tough for them to kind of choose your resume among the 300 plus that we see. So more important than does Intel hire retired veterans is just make sure that if you're applying for a job that you meet the kind of the minimum requirements that they're looking for, and that you write your resume specifically for that job function, not just kind of one-stop shop generic resume.
Rob, can you tell everyone what your email address is?
Sure. My email address is robert.b as in Bravo, .polston. So robert.b.polston. Polston is spelled P as in Papa, O-L-S-T-O-N. And that's at intel.com. If you're not sure, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Anybody who wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can connect with me, and my email address is on my LinkedIn profile as well. Anything else, Debbie?
No, I think the rest of the questions can be answered in the booths in the chat.
Okay,
They're
great.
more specific.
So the winner of the Samsung Galaxy Note tablet is Stephen Roberts from, I'm assuming it's WSU, Washington State University. Stephen, I'll send you an email to send me your mailing address, and I'll get the Galaxy Note out to you early next week. So congratulations, Stephen, for registering and for winning the Samsung Galaxy Note tablet as well. And thank you for attending the career fair. Thank you so much for your service in the U.S. Armed Forces. As a veteran myself and a currently serving Army reservist, I really understand the sacrifices that you've made. And the things you did for our country and things you're continuing to do as well. And I look forward to engaging with you as we continue to build kind of a world-class veterans program and recruiting and sourcing program at Intel. So thank you. I'll release you to the individual recruiting booths at this time.